Okay, so today we're going to dive into a pretty wild idea called the penta-semionic resonance field. Yeah, I know, it's a total mouthful, but stick with me here because it gets right to the heart of how we experience meaning itself. So let's just start with this question. Have you ever had one of those moments, that sudden flash where a ton of different ideas just snap together and you finally get it? That's the aha moment we're talking about.
Yeah, it's that feeling of instant clarity, where some really complex problem or maybe a piece of art just suddenly makes perfect sense. It's not like a step-by-step logical thing. It's more like a way of understanding that hits you all at once. And that experience, that's what we're going to unpack today.
All right, so first up, let's really dig into that aha moment. The source material we're looking at describes this as something way bigger than just understanding one little thing. It's more like experiencing a whole field of sense. And this quote, it just nails the idea perfectly. Instead of seeing individual words or symbols one by one, you feel this web of simultaneous meanings that interpenetrate. It's like you're suddenly seeing the entire tapestry, not just a few of the threads. This field is the key idea we're chasing here. So that sets the stage. Now, let's get into our next section and break this thing down. We're going to deconstruct that kind of intimidating name, penta-semionic resonance field, because once you take it apart, it's way easier to get your head around. All right, first up, penta. Super straightforward, right? It's from the Greek for five. So right away, that tells us we're looking at a structure that's got five main parts, a five-fold system. Simple enough? Then you've got semiotic. This comes from semiotics, which is basically the study of signs and symbols. A semion is just a fundamental unit of meaning. Could be a word, an image, a sound, literally anything that carries some kind of meaning. So, what we have so far is a five-part structure of meaning units. Now this next part, resonance, this is where it gets really cool. This is the key to understanding that this whole thing is dynamic. We're not talking about static signs, it's about a dynamic co-vibration. Think of a musical chord. The individual notes are one thing, but when you play them together, they resonate and create something so much richer, so much more complex. That's the vibe here. And last but not least, field. This just means that meaning doesn't live in one single spot or in one lonely sign. It exists in this distributed space of connections, a whole domain where all the parts are influencing each other. So you put it all together, you get a five-part system of meaning signs, all resonating together in a web of relationships. Okay, so we've got these five parts, but what are they exactly? This brings us to the real core of the theory, the five dimensions or axes that actually make up this field of meaning. Yep, five. That's the magic number. Five distinct but totally interconnected dimensions that create this entire experience. And here they are, the whole crew: referential, relational, interpretive, contextual, and generative. These are the five axes that are constantly playing off each other. So let's just do a quick breakdown of what each one means. First up, we've got the most basic one, referential. This is simply what the sign points to. The word tree points to that actual, physical, leafy thing out in the world. It's that direct, foundational link between a symbol and a thing. Next up, the relational axis. Because that word tree, it doesn't just float in space, right? Its meaning is shaped by how it connects to other words like leaf, forest, wood, and root. It gets its definition by being part of this bigger web of concepts. And number three, this is where we come in, with the interpretive axis. That same tree means something completely different to a botanist, a poet, or a carpenter, right? Meaning is actively being created inside the mind that's perceiving it. Fourth, there's the contextual axis. This is huge. An oak tree might symbolize strength in one culture, but a completely different tree, say a baobab, could be a sacred symbol of community in another. The world around the sign piles on these deep, layered meanings. And finally, number five, and honestly, this one might be the coolest of all, generative. A tree isn't just a thing, it's a symbol that can spark new poems, new technologies, new philosophies about life itself. It's the creative potential of a sign to make something totally new come into the world. So we've laid out these five dimensions, right? But here's the thing, they're not just some static checklist. Let's move on and see how they actually come alive through the way they interact. This is where that resonance idea really starts to sing. And this is where that whole music metaphor from before just clicks into place.
When all 5 of those axes line up perfectly, you get what's called harmonic amplification. That's your aha moment, pure coherence, clarity, deep meaning. But when they're misaligned, you get interference patterns, and that leads to ambiguity, paradox, or what the source calls semiotic noise. You know, that feeling of confusion when something just doesn't add up? Okay, so what? Why does any of this actually matter? For our last section, let's zoom all the way out and look at the bigger picture. Because this isn't just some abstract theory for a textbook. It actually has some really profound implications for how we understand reality. And you might be surprised at just how wide-ranging the applications are. I mean, for semiotics and philosophy, it's a way richer model of language. In cognitive science, it could help us model how our brains are processing all this complex meaning at once. It could even influence stuff like systems design, helping create more intuitive apps or websites. So at the end of the day, what this theory is really doing is flipping our whole idea of meaning on its head. It's suggesting that meaning isn't some static object we go out and find. It's a dynamic process that we are part of. It's this constant shifting resonance between signs, the world, and our own minds. And that leaves us with one last, really big question to chew on. Is this whole idea of a field of meaning just a useful metaphor to help us think? Or could it be describing something more, a fundamental feature of reality itself, a kind of hidden architecture for how meaning actually works in the world? It's a heck of a thought to end on.